Next, we have Acting Minister for Trade and Industry and Substantive Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapor, to give us his closing remarks.
Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, my counterpart and brother, the South African Minister for Trade, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, I am grateful for the opportunity to deliver this statement as we end this two-day business and policy dialogue, which brought together ministers of state, members of parliament, representatives of regional economic communities, business executives and associates, technocrats, young entrepreneurs, civil society organizations, and the media to dialogue and proffer actionable solutions to boost intra-African trade and Africa's prosperity within the context of Africa Union's Agenda 2063. Let me, ladies and gentlemen, as a caretaker for the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and I mean caretaker, and more importantly, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the government of Ghana, thank you in a special way for participating in this very important dialogue. I wish to also thank the Africa Prosperity Network, led by its Executive Director, Dr. Eugene Owusu, and all their partners, particularly the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, led by its distinguished Secretary General, His Excellency Wamkele Meni, for facilitating the holding of this high-level business and policy dialogue on the very consequential subject of AfTA. Excellencies, the discussions here over the last 2 days have shown that through public, private, and multi-sectorial engagement, we can unblock the bottlenecks that hamper the full realization of this single market agenda. I therefore respectfully call on all of us gathered here, ministers, policymakers, government representatives, and representatives of regional economic communities to work with the private sector to institute the requisite institutional and logistical frameworks for the private sector to thrive. Secretary General, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Africa can and will unleash prosperity for its people. The Europeans did it, at least beginning from the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries, with the mining of coal and the use of steam engines through the development of technology and the creation of a single market for the movement of goods and people. The Asians have done it, with the Asian miracle of the 4 Asian tigers, fueled by exports and rapid industrialization. Africa can and must do it. Needless to reference the authors of the award-winning book, Why Nations Fail, when they argue that the prosperity or otherwise of a nation depends on its political and economic institutions. Secretary General, distinguished guests, Africans are one people. We share a common history and have common values. As early as the 8th century, and even before then, we traded without borders on the trans-Saharan corridors. Unfortunately, slavery took its barbaric and debilitating toll on us. Our lands were partitioned following the scramble for Africa, and we became colonized on our land. But our forebears fought, and through their toil and blood, we gained independence. But even after independence, most of us have experienced different regimes, and neocolonialism became the order of the day. Permit me to quote the words of the outstanding president of my country, Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, when he said, and I quote, "We have held elections that were not free and fair. We have had constitutional regimes without limitations placed on executive power. We have had rule by law without rule of law. And we have lived under a number of military dictatorships," end quote. But let me hasten to add, with all the emphasis I can marshal out of my being, that democracy without prosperity is meaningless. The youth of our continents, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, are awake and palpably determined not to settle for less. Whether in Accra, Addis Ababa, Cairo, Bamako, Ouagadougou, Juba, Soweto, or Kinshasa, the consciousness of the young men and women of our continent is at an all-time high. Let us therefore pull our collective forces together and work for the prosperity of Africa and of her peoples. Without a shred of equivocation, The 21st century must and will be an Africa century. Let Africa rise. I thank you for your attention.
We're going to have our very last presentation by the representative of the Africa Prosperity Network, and that is Dr. Eugene Owusu.
I really like to use this opportunity to thank, in particular, the Secretary General of the AFCFTA Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Dialogues-Kwahu. Also thank His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic for being with us yesterday. I'll be remiss in my thank yous if I don't say a big thank you to Honorable Minister Jinapor, who I've had the privilege and opportunity to work on a number of things, over the past 5 to 6 years. You all know I'm an old man, he's a young man, but I have to tell you how much he inspires me. He inspires me with his knowledge, with his vision, with his wisdom, and importantly, with his sense of purpose. And let me just say this. He's an action man. And I think that's what we need as a country, and that's what Africa needs. What we need is action. And I think Excellency Abu Jinapor exemplifies that need. So thank you so much, Minister, for the inspiration that you've given me over the past couple of years.